Hey everybody, welcome back to the People Process Progress Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Kevin Pennell, and I am porting another episode of the Hope Is Not a Plan podcast. This one is from March of last year, 2024. It's how to give and receive an effective project handoff. And this is critical because whether you get a brand new clean slate project or maybe you're asked mid-project to take over for another project manager, we need to both be ready to receive information, understand the message, understand the status, where we're at, how we can pick up, and then also be able to relay that information. And two of the areas that I focus on in examples is the art of the sender. So how do I effectively send messages through documentation, the pitch I give, the status, the data, and the intangibles, kind of what's the feeling. And then as the receiver, how can I switch on receiver mode and familiarize myself with the use case and the plan and the objectives and start thinking ahead on questions I can add and how I can work with the team. So again, I recorded this over a year ago, but it is very relevant today, and I'm trying to port a lot of the great content that I got both from folks that I interviewed in Hope Is Not a Plan and from some of you all, from the listeners that gave me ideas and asked me to talk about certain things. So again, here is how to give and receive an effective project handoff. But first, please silence your cell phones, hold all sidebar conversations to a minimum. Let's get logged in and get locked on to this episode of the People Process Progress Podcast in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast dedicated to fostering pragmatic optimism in your professional world. Today, we're tackling a universal challenge, the art of the good handoff, more specifically, how to give and receive an effective project handoff. Whether you're a healthcare professional transitioning patient care, a software developer handing off a project, or simply passing the baton on a collaborative effort, a smooth handoff is crucial for success. So as we dive into this episode, I'm going to use some medical examples from my time as a hospital corpsman and EMS provider, and how now practically as a program or project manager, you can use these skills for both providing and receiving a stellar handoff. But first, welcome to the podcast where we address tough questions head on, face our problems, and highlight our hopes by providing actionable planning steps to improve ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. Now, let's get logged in and get locked on to this episode. Imagine you're an emergency medical technician rushing a patient to the hospital. As you arrive, you need to efficiently hand off care to the emergency room team. This handoff is critical for ensuring the patient receives seamless and efficient treatment. The same is true if you're a project manager and you've been with the team a little bit, and for some reason, whatever that is, you have to transition that to one of your colleagues or to a completely different person that you may not have even ever met. It's vitally important that you have a good handoff for the success of that team and everyone in it. So here are key elements for providing a good handoff. I'm going to talk about 4 elements for providing and 4 for receiving. So first, the art of the sender. The first thing is update your documentation, right? Just like a medical chart, you got to ensure the project documentation's up to date. It's the latest, greatest news, so we're not dealing with old things. Project info isn't quite evergreen, but you know what I mean. You don't want to have a 2-week-old status report or update or just information in your head when there's more up-to-date information that could positively impact the oncoming project manager. So this includes the latest status report. What are the potential risks and the known issues that are happening? Are they documented, and who owns them and what you're going to do about them? Are the percentages on the task complete, up to date? Are the key milestone dates correct? If you've gotten to the point where you've planned for a go live when you're going to put this new thing or process in place, is that accurate to the best of the ability at the time? Have you reviewed the design documents? Are they the best ones to share? And any other relevant communication tools or modalities that you need to prepare or get ready for the handoff to the next project manager that's going to be leading the process and supporting it. The second key area for the art of the sender providing handoff is to prepare your pitch, right? When you're handing off a project, think of it as presenting a case to a new doctor, right? Briefly summarize the purpose of the project and any roadblocks encountered and next steps. And before you meet with the incoming project or program manager, talk about it in your head, right? Talk through it. Do your own elevator pitch. Think about what's the latest status? What are outstanding actions that I have open that I need to do that I haven't done yet, that the team has open? What are those bottom line upfront things? And make sure you have them prepared so you're not scrambling during the transition period where in medical life or on the street, when I used to work in the ICU at Bethesda Naval Hospital, it was a short amount of time. I'm going off shift, so I want to go home, but I need to give a good handoff. And the new person coming in has a finite amount of time before they have to start patient care. Just like maybe in some project handoffs, I have to go somewhere because I'm asked to take care of another project, or maybe I have something in my life that's drawing me away from it. Whatever the reason is, we need to be able to provide efficiency and not waste each other's time. The third thing for giving the handoff is review those data and status. So you pulled them together, you updated them earlier. Now we're going to go over those with the person we're handing off to. So just like you'd share the patient's vital signs and medical history and provide the recipient a clear understanding of the project's data, the progress you've made, and outstanding issues, right? Walk them through the documentation you've gone over and to the level that's needed, right? If you don't need to go to all the technical specs, don't. If you don't need to cover information because they already got kind of read in on the project a little bit, that's great. Just talk to the person that you're giving that handoff to. Sometimes you need a lot. Sometimes you need less. Also mention what the guardrails of the project are, right? We know projects, the big ones, the big 3 or big 4 are scope, schedule, cost, and quality. Are there any guardrails? Hey, we're authorized to spend this before we ask this person for that, or we can add, a few things if it makes sense to scope, but, otherwise we need to take it through this process, and just familiarize the other person with the processes of the project as well. Number 4 for me, this is maybe the most important. Share the intangibles, right? Beyond the technical aspects, share any institutional knowledge that you've gained about the project. This is vital because someone coming in won't have that. It might include insights into stakeholder preferences, potential roadblocks that are going to exist or are likely going to exist, and even unofficial best practices, right? In this world now we're so hybrid, waterfall and agile and Scrum and Six Sigma and whatever process your organization uses. Some states have their own kind of thing. What are we doing here? What parts of what the book says are we using? What parts of what the book says are we not using? How did the team decide to work together, right? Think about what do they really need to know? Who's on board with the project? Who's your supporters? Who do we have opportunity to build rapport with, right? These are intangible things that we can make more tangible by sharing the information, and then the incoming project manager can action those. So my 4, and there's more, and I'd love to hear it. Go to hopesnotaplane.com, ask a question, fill that feedback form out, and let me know, or respond to the comments when I post this on hopesnotaplane.com. But I think we should update our documentation. We should prepare ourselves, prepare a pitch. We should review that data and status with the person that's coming in. And then we should share the intangibles that aren't in a spreadsheet or in a Gantt chart or somewhere, but the things that they need to know to effectively protect the team, support the team, and foster success among the project. Now, let's switch to our receiver hat, right? Let's switch perspectives and imagine we're the ER doctor receiving patient info from the EMT. Right? Our ability to receive the handoff is just as crucial in ensuring the patient's well-being. Well, it's just as crucial in the project's well-being because we are new coming into this team, and there's some things that we need to consider, and we're going to go over these right now. The first is switch on receiver mode, right? You need to actively listen and engage with the sender, ask some clarifying questions, and I'll talk about those more in a bit. And try and avoid distractions, right? Especially if you're doing this remotely. It's easy to be listening, and you're looking at another screen or you're looking at your phone. Let's get some focus time here. We're adults, we can do that, right? Remember, it's not multitask time. It's time to pay attention to the person that's talking to you. Because who knows the stress they have, right? They're giving up this thing they worked on, whether by choice, by necessity, or not their choice at all. And so it's important and it's helpful for us to pay attention to them. Here's the overall principle. Listen to, what's being shared, not just to respond, right? To jump to, I'm going to do this now because I'm coming in. A good model that I learned when I was part of an incident management team, and those are teams that go around after tornadoes. They help whole cities and stuff, find missing people and really good stuff that I'll talk about more throughout this podcast's life cycle, but it's the CUDC method. And this means communicate or to receive, understand, which is the message. D is decide the next steps, and I'm going to give you some of those, what I think work well for being a receiver of these. And then you're going to communicate again a direction. So it's kind of like restating what the person just told you. I'm going to listen. I'm going to say, okay, I understand or I don't understand here. I'm going to decide, okay, for this thing, I should probably do this or that. And then I'm going to actually communicate that. And I would do that with the person that's giving you the brief, because now remember we're in receiver mode, and say, does that sound right? This is what I heard, and kind of verify it with them. The second thing in receiver mode, the receiver's responsibility, is to familiarize yourself with the use case or the base plan, or both, really. This is like understanding the patient's medical history, but it helps us grasp the project's purpose, the goals, the overall approach, right? It helps us understand the context, and it helps us ask relevant questions. So these are the foundational reasons for the project, like the why of the project. And so it's good for us to go look that up if you can, if you have a project management system where you just know where the documents is. Again, it's like that first assessment of a patient. It gets done, and whether it's on the street or in the ER or something, and it's a good baseline, but the data in our perspective is going to change, right? Based on what the patient does, the circumstances, and the same thing is true of a project. So we can read the initial business case and the initial why, and that's very important, but just know the updates you're going to get here in a little bit are going to be different than what that is. Maybe the schedule's not what we thought it was going to be. We had less budget or more budget. The scope changed. It got bigger or smaller. The quality, though, it is something that shouldn't really change a whole lot. And if it does, that's part of us helping manage that. Number 3 is ask objective questions, right? Don't be afraid to ask questions, but frame them objectively to seek clarification rather than judgment, right? It fosters a more collaborative and open communication style. And chatter and gossip, they happen in the workplace on projects, right? But during this transition period, let's try and get in the cone of silence, the circle of trust, whatever we want to call it. Let's focus on the facts, not in a robotic way, right? But in a way that will help the sender feel more comfortable handing off this project to someone else, right? And it'll help us, the receiver, at this point, be more prepared to support the team in the project. But we need to ask questions. Don't feel like, oh, I shouldn't ask questions as you just know what to do, because that's not true, right? No one that just shows up, we could know process-wise, hey, I think we should do this or that, but we got to get this information from the person handing it off to us for those reasons I stated. And number 4, in receiver mode, start thinking about next steps. Now we've taken time, we've listened, we reviewed things, we've gotten some feedback, and all this could be happening in half an hour. It could be happening in 5 minutes, right? Depending on the emergent nature of it. It could happen in an hour if you have a long actual plan thing, and some of those shorter durations are more emergent things, right? Emergency management type stuff, healthcare stuff. Projects, usually we have some time, but sometimes we don't. So as you're thinking about your next steps, as you're receiving the information, kind of begin mentally to formulate. Once you've received, and demonstrate your engagement, right? Because you're being asked to take on a project, not just to do what the other person did, but to be who you are. So now you've heard the status, you familiarize yourself with the concept of the project, you've asked good questions, it's time to think about actions. So here are some things that I found helpful when I've been the receiver and come in and taken over, right? Set up one-on-ones with members of the team. This will help build relationships, show that you want to hear them. And that's the thing is, right, we're going to go back in receiver mode. But we're going to ask, what's working? What should we keep? And what should we change? Super simple questions, right? And I want to hear that from the folks that have been here. Now, having said that, the second kind of subset of starting to think ahead is to consider the timing of any changes that you feel like the team could benefit from, that the project can benefit from, that you feel like would help you as the owner of the process and the supporter of the team do a better job at, right? Too much change too early just feels like you're kind of, doing the metaphorical, clear the table, put my stuff on it, right? That doesn't look good. It is probably too disruptive. And sometimes we do need to be disruptive. If, let's say, there's a process that's leaking money and the schedule's off, but you don't have to just clean house that way. You can take your time, but consider the timing of it. Just think about it, whether it's real fast or you have time. And then the third kind of subset of thinking ahead to next steps is be the project manager that you are, not the one that was before you, not the one that somebody else thinks you should be. It is natural and helpful to lead and support the team as you feel best. Now, we're not going to do this in a silo. We've gotten feedback from the team, but you are chosen to be a program manager or a project manager or a leader of a team because someone believes in you. And so you need to believe in yourself and realize, okay, I'm not going to just wipe the slate. I'm going to get the scoop from the team, but I'm going to do this a bit my way, right? There's a reason that you're asked. You've probably been successful. And so I've found that very helpful, right? Whether it's the tools, the techniques, the language you use, you are who you are, and you are the person that your leaders, that the team wants to help get them through this project, whatever it is. So I really believe by following the elements I've mentioned as both the sender and the receiver, everybody can contribute to a smooth and successful handoff. But remember, a good handoff isn't just about passing information. It's about transferring ownership. Now you're the PM or the program manager. Now you own it. Now you're the patient care giver. Anything that happens with that patient is on you. Anything that happens with that project is on you. Build trust with the team members, with your leaders. And ultimately, you will set this project up for success. Thank you, everybody, again, for joining me. Shout out to Jennifer for the great feedback and inspiration on Reddit today. That was very helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing and listening. I hope this episode equips you with the tools to navigate your next handoff, whatever that is, with confidence and collaboration. And remember, a little planning goes a long way to ensure a smooth transition and ultimately fostering a more hopeful project journey. I'm on LinkedIn, Kevin Pinnell. So I look forward to hearing from you all, and I appreciate the opportunity to share what I've learned, what's been taught to me, to help others. I really think that's what this platform is all about. Stay safe, everybody. Wash those hands, and I wish you all Godspeed.